Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to our subscribers, both long-term and our new subscribers. Lovely to have you on board. So today we're going to be doing the final project in this series, which is the Crafts 1893 Crafts from Ryman's. There are plenty of others to do, but in this particular series, mainly because this one here is the end of one of my pads. So we're going to mainly focus on the pads today, the paper pads, and we're going to be using a couple of other embellishments. So we're going to make a floral card, but we're going to be making it slightly unusual. So here we go, very easy to do, nothing complicated here. So this is a relatively quick and easy one. You will need, this is a 5x7, but if you wanted to make a 6x4 or even a 6x6, the process is exactly the same. So you can make this whatever size or shape card you like. So, but I'm going to do a 5x7 because it's my favourite size of card. And we have a white card base, and I've put some of the pattern paper on there already. And I've just used an ordinary glue stick to add that. You will also need, I'll just pop that to one side for a second, you will need a second piece of 5x7. Now this is going to be a mat, and what you need to do with this one, I would suggest putting your paper on first. We've got white card underneath. So put your paper on first, your pattern paper first, then we're going to die cut an aperture. So glue your paper on, again I've used glue stick, put your die where you want it. You don't have to put it in the middle, I've just put it in the middle because that's where I wanted it. So once you've glued your paper down, put your die wherever you want it, in this case it's a circular die, and then run it through, and that will just pop out like that. So you will have a mat with an aperture in it. So what we're going to do, before we add our aperture to our mat, we're going to, because we're not going to just pop it on like that, we're going to do it slightly differently. But before we do that, we are going to add our flowers. So I've got 6 flowers here. Let's just pop that out of the way for a minute. And I've got half a dozen flowers over here, and I've got some daisies and some these things, sunflowers, that's the word. But I'm not going to use hot glue today. For quickness, I'm just going to pop them on with some foam pads. So I've just cut an ordinary foam pad in half. So this one, now I just need to make sure I get this in the right place. So that, you know what, I'm going to, yeah, that's okay. We're going to put that one, but make sure we stick it above the aperture. Don't have it covering the aperture. And again, I've already got them on here, the foam pads. I've just cut them in half. And we're going to take that off like that and pop one of those on like that. So make sure the pad, the foam pad, sticks onto there and doesn't come halfway across or comes over the aperture. So again, we're going to do that. And we are going to we're going to put 3 up there. I was going to have them all sort of round in one corner, if you could have a corner of a circle, or one area, but I didn't like it. It looked a bit bunched up. I didn't like that. So I decided to put 3 at the top, and we're going to put 3 at the bottom. So I'll just quickly pop these on, and then I'll show you how we're going to attach the mat. I haven't got a sentiment for this one yet, because I haven't decided for whom or what it's going to, what occasion or who it's going to go for. But it could be for almost any occasion. Almost. So, well, virtually any occasion anyway. So we're going to take this off, and we're going to put that on like that. So we've now got a mat with some flowers, and we've got our card base. Now what we're going to do to put the two together, I'm just going to put the card base to one side, and I'm going to put the mat to that side. I hope to goodness it doesn't fall on the floor. Because you need a couple of other pieces, and you will need your scoreboard. So you will need 2 pieces that measure 5 by 2 inches. And I will add all of these measurements in the description. There aren't many. There's just the 5x7 mat, the 5x7 card, and the 5 by 2 inch bits here. But I'll show you, I will add these down below so that you don't have to remember them, because it's a lot to remember when you're trying to watch what's going on. So I'm just going to move that over there. We're just going to bring that in so you can actually see what I'm doing. And we're going to score it at, we're going to have 2 exactly the same. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, give it a good press, and at 1.5 inches. So every half an inch really. So we're going to score on the 2-inch side at 1/2 inch, 1 inch and 2.5 and 1.5, beg your pardon. And that's the only scoring we need to do, apart from doing exactly the same on the other one. So let's slide the scoreboard out of the way. Now in a face-to-face, a live, if you like, a craft group that I run, or I don't run, I sometimes do demonstrations for, someone asked me, how do you remember how to fold this? Because we're going to concertina fold it. Now the best way of doing it, or the easiest way of doing it, is concentrate on the single folds. A lot of people will say, oh, fold that one down, fold that one up, fold that one down. But I found an easier way of doing it. Well, easier for me anyway. Concentrate on the single fold, fold the middle, the central fold, fold down like that. Then take the 2 outer folds and just fold them up. So we're going to do that and then just fold it up like that. It's a lot easier than trying to remember which one's a mounting fold and which one's a valley fold. Now, and that's the other thing someone asked me, what's the difference? A mounting fold is when the peak is at the top, and a valley fold is when the peak is at the bottom. So that's a valley and that's a mounting. And once you've done that, you do that on the second piece in exactly the same way. And then what we need to do, we need to bring in both pieces, our mat, or our card base and our mat. Well, first of all, we need to turn over the mat, and you will need some strong glue. I'm going to use the craft glue, so any strong or construction weight glue will do. And I'm going to have mine with the fold at the top because it looks nicer. So just pop some glue along there like that. Just trail a little string of glue like that. And I'm going to have mine, as I've said, with the fold at the top. So I'm going to pop that just there. I'm just going to bring it over so that I can see that it is at the top of the card. So it needs to be flush with the edge of the card, like that. And we're going to do the same on the bottom. So we're going to have the folded edge facing the bottom. So again, actually, we could put the glue down here. It really doesn't matter. So pop that along there, like that. With the folded edge facing down, pop your bit there. Your pop-up bit there. We might call this a pop-up aperture card. I'm not quite sure what we're going to call it yet, but that's probably what we'll call it, because this part does pop up slightly. And then all we do is we put some more glue, one bit there. Oh, that didn't quite go to the end. And one bit on the top. So just a nice little trail of glue over there. We won't need the glue anymore. Turn it over, and then what we do, bring that bit in there, fold it down. It might move a bit because this does take a while to dry, but that's okay. So I'm just going to bring it down so that hopefully you can still see it, but I can see it too. Pop it down like that. Make sure it's all lined up, and indeed it is. And that, if that pops out, which it may do, that's okay. Just pop it in like that. It's a bit difficult because it's still wet, so the minute you try and fold it, it's going to move. So this is where you get your fingers terribly sticky. So the alternative to this is perhaps what I should have done. You could use tape. Oh dear, this is going to come off. Okay, so let's just stick that down there. And okay, right, plan B. Let's try sticking it the other way. Stick it to the card base first. Maybe that might work better. And if that'll stay in place, we'll carry on. So put that down there. We'll get there in the end. And then just fold that down. Yes, we should actually, that did work better. So there's your tip, guys. You saw it live on camera. Stick it down to your card base first. It's easier. And once you've got it in place, you can, while that glue is wet, all the time that glue is wet, you've got time to slide everything in place. You could use tape, of course, but the only problem with using tape is you only get one go at it. So if you don't get it in the first place, the right place first time, you're sort of stuck with it. But once you've done that, we could have done a little support there as well. But once that's dry, that will still open like that. That will still stand quite nicely, like that. And you have your card. If you wanted to, you could put a little support underneath. But once that's dry, it probably won't be necessary. So there you go, guys. There is our, I think we might call it a 3D aperture card or floral aperture card. You'll see what it's called when we put it up on the channel. So there we go, guys. Whatever you want to call it, there it is. And I'll be back soon with another project. Not necessarily from these. I might use bits and pieces from this, but I shall be using bits from my stash because I've used so much of this wonderful paper, which I absolutely love. I've got some scraps left over. So what I might be doing next time is showing you what you can do with your scraps and your leftover bits. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you've enjoyed watching me battle with soggy glue and getting it all in the right place. But we got there in the end. I may put a couple of supports in there, but I'm not quite sure yet. So in the meantime, have fun until we meet again. Have fun, take care, and as always, happy grafting. Bye bye for now.